This is KGW News at Sunrise.
This morning on Sunrise, we're still talking about the recovery from last week's winter storm. And now one of the big headlines, towing fees.
And I was devastated.
That woman had to pay nearly $800 to get her car back after leaving it on the side of the road during last week's storm. We'll tell you what PBOT and ODOT both had to say about that high of a towing fee.
Well, the bad weather canceled blood donations at a local center. Now it's asking for the public's help to replenish supplies. Just ahead this morning, how you can give the gift of life. Plus.
What are they celebrating last night at the Moda Center? Well, just one of the greatest nights of scoring in the history of the NBA. Damian Lillard scored 71. Like, I kind of take 60-point games for granted anymore with him.
But 71?
71 is another level. We'll have more from Dame and his historic night at Moda Center coming up a little bit later.
Now I wish I had stayed up a little bit to watch. I tapped out early.
I saw a highlight of him, like, we'll probably show it later, of him like jamming and dunking, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know he scored 71. Later I saw that headline.
I'm guessing he hardly missed. I mean, you don't have time to miss.
I had to go back and look how many shots
he took.
Right.
I had to look at how many shots he took, but incredible night, all the highlights to come.
All right, what are we in for today?
All right, so, we're still playing this cat and mouse game with every day, hey, it could snow, it could stick, but every day we're not sure if we're actually going to get down to freezing. The last couple of nights, generally speaking, the low elevation, Salem, Portland, Vancouver, we have not gotten down to freezing. We do have a low offshore. It's pulling a bit of an east wind, not overly windy, but a bit of an east wind this morning. Radar is showing now the white and gray tones, some light snow pushing up into the area. There's some rain showers that have popped up into Clark County. Here are the early morning numbers. And again, kind of where we've been, above freezing, but chilly and close to it. 35 in Tigard and Portland, 36 out in Hillsborough. There are some 33s on the map. There's Salem, though, 37. McMinnville with some light snow showing up on radar, flurries holding at 34 degrees. So it's certainly possible temperatures will get down to 32, at least in spots, with some icy roadways developing between now and, say, 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. But so far, so good. We're at 37 out of PDX, and we will, no matter what happens, we'll warm up to 40 or better again this afternoon, and then we'll watch temperatures get close to freezing with another snow threat overnight tonight. For now, back to you.
All right, Rod, not a lot of school delays or closures this morning, at least not yet, but we do have a few we can pass along right now. We're going to start in Multnomah County. The Reynolds School District is closed today. And there will be no after-school activities either in the Reynolds School District. Corbett School District opening, but classes will start 2 hours late there. Up in Clark County, the Green Mountain School District will also have a 2-hour late start, and the Jewell School District in Seaside will also start 2 hours late.
Here's a look at the roads from Drive 8 this morning. Our photographer Eric Patterson is eastbound on Highway 26 at the zoo exit. You see some pavement, but also still some of the snow on the road. A huge difference, though, from last week. Wednesday's snowstorm caused a lot of trouble for drivers, including hours-long traffic jams. A lot of people abandoned their cars and then they got out and walked. Those cars were eventually towed, and it was expensive to get them out of impound. We talked to Victoria Sharan. She was one of the many people stranded in traffic on Highway 26. She says she moved 1 mile in 5 hours. So she pulled off the highway, left her car, and walked to a safe place. ODOT tagged her car as a hazard, and Anderson Towing and Recovery hauled it away. When Sharan went to get her car, she says she was horrified.
When we got there, the charge was $787, and I was devastated.
ODOT said it wasn't aware that towing companies were charging that much. We also reached out to PBOT. It says fees that high are not the norm. Meanwhile, Anderson Towing said they would get back to us later today with a comment.
A Clark County Sheriff's deputy who was badly hurt during last week's snowstorm when a tree fell onto a squad car wound up having to have his leg amputated. Deputy Drew Kennison was driving home from SWAT training when a huge tree limb snapped under the weight of the snow and came crashing down onto his car. Medics were slow to get to the accident scene that day because of the bad weather. But despite the accident, his colleagues say Deputy Kennison remains in good spirits. He's been with the Clark County Sheriff's Office for 14 years.
Bloodworks Northwest is asking for blood donations. The storm last week forced it to cancel hundreds of appointments, which means folks who need blood may not get it. The organization says it needs 1,000 donors a day to keep a stable supply for Pacific Northwest hospitals. The center's supervisor says it'll take at least a month to make up for the donations it couldn't collect last week. Bloodworks Northwest provides about 95% of the blood used in regional hospitals. If you'd like to donate, you can visit the bloodworksnorthwest.org website. When you do, you can put in your zip code to find a donation location near you.
One of our other top stories this morning comes from the Hazelwood neighborhood of Northeast Portland, where a shooting over the weekend left one man dead and another person injured.
Right now, police aren't searching for a suspect and no one has been arrested. KGW's Blair Best brings us the latest.
Couples on a Sunday morning stroll through what seems to be a quiet residential neighborhood in Northeast Portland.
Well, this is a pretty good area.
Yet around 3:30 Sunday morning, it was anything but good when a shooting left one person dead and another critically injured.
It's a scary feeling.
Randallyn DeWitt woke up to gunshots, followed by police lights flashing through her bedroom window.
Loud pops, consecutive, pretty evenly spaced out.
A sound she says isn't unusual for the area, yet still unsettling.
Way too close, just way too close.
My wife and I woke up to what sounded like medium to loud pops, maybe 4 to 5, and then some screaming that was a little delayed.
We watched as Portland police went door to door looking for evidence and video of the crime. They say no arrests have been made yet and at this time aren't searching for a suspect. They say the man who was critically injured was taken to the hospital. The other man's body, Randallyn saw lying in front of her neighbor's house.
It was in the street, but again, it's like, that's crazy.
So far this year, there have been 8 homicides in Portland. If this one here in the Hazelwood neighborhood is determined to be a homicide, it would be the 9th. Now, according to a KGW analysis, that's less than the number of homicides Portland saw this time last year.
It's concerning. It's alarming.
Some neighbors say it's up to the community to change this violent trend.
To try to solve the issue together, because that's really the only way anything will move forward.
While others look for a more immediate solution.
It's getting crazier and crazier. We all kind of want to move. Our neighbors have said they wanted to move. People that have been here for 30 plus years want to move. It just keeps getting worse.
In Northeast Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Other headlines this morning. Emergency warming shelters are closed today, but they may reopen depending on the forecast. The city of Portland opened several extra shelters last week. There were 7 across the metro area, including the Lloyd Center. At one point on Friday, more than 850 people were using the shelters, and more than 740 took public transit to get there. Vancouver police are looking for the robbers who hit 4 businesses yesterday, 2 7-Elevens and 2 Chevron stations. They took cash from the registers and 1 store safe. Police say 2 or 3 suspects were in a stolen Kia Optima with Washington license plates. They're likely armed. If you see them, you're asked to call Vancouver police. And the Portland Timbers kicking off the season at home tonight. They were supposed to open against Kansas City on Saturday, but look at Providence Park. It was covered in snow, so they had to reschedule. The Timbers are coming off a disappointing season last year after missing the playoffs for the first time. Tonight, they're looking for redemption. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. And those are some of your Monday headlines.
Dame will sprint out on the sideline to get the rock. High dribble, into the lane, running right-hander up and in. Damian Lillard with that runner. 71 points, a career high.
Sounds like he misspoke, but it's actually true. Damian Lillard had 71 points last night, the most ever by a Trailblazer. In fact, only 3 people in the history of the NBA have scored more than 71 points in a game. Here's what Damian had to say after it was all said and done.
I enjoy those moments in the game when I'm just, going after people, when I'm in attack mode. I think any hooper enjoys those moments, where you hot and you're in attack mode, you're feeling good. But it's the stuff afterward that I struggle with. Like when I walked off the court, I was like, am I supposed to be like overly excited or what? You know what I mean? I just high-fived everybody, but those are the moments I struggle with. I live for the moments, where I'm taking over and dominating games, but I don't live for, the stuff that comes afterwards.
It would not be good to score 71 and lose, right? But the Blazers won last night as well. 134-114, the final score.
They're like big kids, all those guys so excited.
So Jay Lundenberg, one of our editors, photographers, who's a big Blazer fan, tells me Dame's hit 13 threes and the record's 14.
Yes.
I'm sure somewhere this morning he's got to be thinking, should have shot 2 more. Should have shot 2 more threes.
And if he hit 1 more 3, he would have had 74, obviously, and then only 2 people in the league history would have scored more points than him.
It's wild. It was a good day to stay inside and watch a little sports. It was cold.
Who's the guy that was covering him, by the way? What's he doing this morning? Yes, cold. Let's get you the winter weather map. So we still have warnings for the Coast Range, not for the Cascades themselves, but for the foothill communities. And then we still have the winter weather advisory up and down the I-5 corridor. Here's the headlines that I'm really tracking. Basically, we're still in the same weather pattern that we've had, and we're going to be in this pattern through tomorrow. Low snow levels. General snow level 500 feet. Now, the snow level goes up as high as 1,000 during the heat of the day, but then gets down closer to sea level depending on what ground temperatures are doing at night and early morning. So that's the kind of cat and mouse game we've been playing. Valley lows during this time frame anywhere from maybe some of you get down to 30, 31. So far, if you go back since the snow fell on Wednesday, we've generally been holding in the mid-30s at night when there's been precip in the area. And that's why we really haven't had any problems, of course. Metro Hill's on guard for 1 to 4 inches. Storm warning for the Coast Range I mentioned. And by the way, if you live in the Cascade foothill communities under that warning, there's enough moisture you would think that a lot of you have a real good chance to pick up 4 inches. And if you live in a spot where you get several decent snow bands, you could see higher amounts than that. Here's a look at some of our travel cameras. They didn't want to take you out to the gorge. They've had snow the last couple of nights, and I-84 has been kind of dicey looking. Here's 32 degrees at Cascade Locks. The gorge also expected to warm up to about 40 today in some areas, so we've been seeing improving conditions during the day. Here's a Sunset Highway over the Coast Range. That's still a very snowy mess for travel, and of course Highway 26 and the Cascade Passes continue to be very snow covered. We're seeing a mix of rain and snow shower activity start to move up right now. Again, the green is rain, the white gray shades are light snow. Temperatures, here they are. Yeah, see, we're above freezing again. 37 Kelso, Portland, and Salem. Not just above freezing, but, I put that in the well above freezing category, right? So we'll leave the potential in the forecast for 32 tonight and 32 this morning and 32 tonight, because I want to grab your attention to realize it is possible that we could have some icy spots and some snow sticking. But so far, the cards have not played out. Wednesday is dry. Thursday, I think it's rain. Thursday, snow level goes up to 1,500 feet. That's your forecast.
All right, Rod, thanks for the update in the weather department. Just a quick reminder as we head to break, if you have a story idea for us, anything you'd like us to cover or verify, we'd love to hear from you. Lots of different stories out there that we need to hear about in order to report on. So call us or text us. That's the number to call, 503-226-5088. And we're back with more Sunrise in a moment.